question is with regards to what you said about the relational, or maybe we giving artificial intelligence position in the society. My question comes up with, what if in a situation of a moral liability where the artificial intelligence is like a partner with the human beings, and the mistake, maybe with regards to a surgical operation, a doctor is making use of a particular tool, maybe a robot for an operation, and when there is a mistake with regards to this partnership between the human being and the particular robot, who is to take responsibility if there is already a partnership between man and the technology? Now, for what you said, we should create a space for this artificial intelligence in the society. Then it means that, is it possible that we can also share responsibility with these robots? That's my question. Thank you.
Is that a shared responsibility? I would say no. I'm not really, we can give them responsibility, no problem. But we have to decide. We are the ones to shape actually a space for them. They are not the ones to shape a space for us. That's my position. Possibly too radical, but still, as a human being, moral human beings, I don't really keep quiet when it comes to giving the space to machines. We give them a space. We tend our hand. It's okay, but they should not, or we should not think that they should dictate us what to do. There is a friend of mine at the University of Bonn in Germany who told me if the machines keep disturbing us, we switch them off. And another one said some machines can no longer be switched off. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem. That means sometimes we, as human beings, with our capacity of thinking, with our transcendental capacity of being who we are, sometimes we are destroying ourselves, giving space to the destroyer. So, the only problem of ours is that most of the time, because of interest, because of utility, the machines are taking over our places. And that takes me back to the very original idea of Benjamin Franklin in 1829. Actually, by that time, what he was looking for was a simple machine to help. A simple machine to help grow some stuff, to harvest. He was not looking for a machine to take over his responsibility. Of course, you can give machines some tasks. It's true. The machine do their task. You write a text. You are the one to write a text. The machine can correct it. It's okay, no problem. It can suggest some vocabulary. When you are typing now the computer is telling you, you've made a mistake. But you are the one to correct it. Right? Yes. The machine, you are drawing something, the machine says, possibly you should add the blue color of the gray color so that you can get that image. But you are the one to say yes or not. So, what I would say is you have to take responsibility. But of course you have to be careful because possibly I've been looking at that. There are some machines who are extremely advanced. You simply click and the machine goes on days and nights up to the time when you say, okay, I get a result. But you are the one shaping its task. I don't know if I've answered. So the machine should not take our responsibility. We should give them tasks in our daily life. But of course, sometimes sometimes there is some kind of profession. Sometimes we transfer our responsibility to those machines. And that is the biggest problem. So we have to reclaim our humanity back. I don't know if you have learned in some places in Japan, they have machines. And when you have problems, you go, you talk to the machine. And the machine is giving some advices. But actually, everything is already put there, put in the machine. You ask this, the machine has a reply. Actually, it's a matter of you say that, the machine says that. You say that, the machine says that. And sometimes you call, I've seen it last week or 2 weeks ago, I called an office in Belgium and I got a machine, a phone answer that was actually a machine, artificial intelligence. And at a certain time, the machine keeps saying, do this and do this. Then I wrote an email to say, please, I need a human being. And then someone called me later on. I said, okay, where is the machine you can hear? You ask a question and it finds out that that concept was not part of its vocabulary. It says, do that again, up to the point or to the moment you come up with a vocabulary that the machine understands. But I'm not a machine. Possibly a part of me is a machine as well. But that kind of machinery is not that yet developed, hopefully. Okay, the next question.
I'm confused from the conclusion made there. I would like to know, by grasping the meaning of the concept used by African philosophers to understand the being, like Ubuntu, Umuntu, and the Umuntu is concerned, I would like to know how that Ubuntu shift from relation, ontology, or understanding human being to the philosophy of technology as this narrative in your conclusion. Thank you.
This Ubuntu is a purely, even metaphysically, a relational concept. So Ubuntu is nothing if it doesn't bring people together. So that is the point. Ubuntu is a purely relational concept. You can't understand it without actually understand that idea of belonging. I am who I am because you are, right? Then you go on with another concept of Umuntu, a human being. A human being is an abstract. This actual concept is almost, you really need to understand Umuntu from within a metaphysical, sociological, anthropological perspective. Umuntu, nta muntu urimo. You see what I mean? So, umuntu akeneye ubumuntu kugira ngo abe umuntu. And umuntu is some kind of relational concept as well. It's not about an individual. It's about actually such moral character you have to be capable of relating to the others. Mu Kinyarwanda ushobora kuvuga uti abantu bamenya ko uri umuntu iyo ufitemo ubumuntu. Meaning that ubumuntu is a growing concept which actually takes place in such living together, kubana, in such looking at the other as human, as a person, as you are. So, in my reflection, I see Ubuntu as a broader concept, which includes not only Umuntu, but also Umuntu. That is actually, and then I go there and I say, okay, how do we understand the technological crisis, or how can we approach the crisis of technology in our time from that African perspective, then I come up with that idea of shared responsibility. You can't really understand technology and its crisis without entering into the problem of society, shared responsibility, shared accountability. You really need to confront that technological crisis from within that idea of saying, if we really have to save our humanity, we have to do it together. That is actually my conclusion. If we really want to rehumanize our society, we really have to do it together. That is actually the metaphysics of relation. Okay.
I see that you have already started with this usage of AI. Nowadays, many people are being controlled, or my future view of this usage of AI. I see that many people will be controlled by AI unwillingly, but by the reasons of families. For instance, many people are working in the institutions where head of departments are robots to whom they must report. And I ask myself, a seminarian who is in this journey to the priesthood, how will you advise the Christians, other people, not to be controlled by that AI, but they must be controlled so as to get their income? And I ask myself, is it possible not to be controlled by that AI, but for those people who are being controlled by the reasons of the families? And that case of losing humanity, I see that as long as that people are being controlled by that AI so as to get the income, it will result in the losing of personality or relationships among the people. And is it possible for those people not to be controlled by the AI? And how can you advise him? Thank you very much.
One of my starting points, artificial intelligence or technology or whatever, don't be scared. The only thing you have to know is the AI or machines, they are actually they're processing what you have put in there. The only thing is to control what you give them, right? Control what to give them. If you put your life on street, it is on street. It has gone. In that case, don't say that the machine is destroying you. You have destroyed yourself, right? So, be positive when you look at those machines. Be critically positive. I'm criticizing modern technology, but I'm doing that positively. And I'm not scared, actually. The machines, if they can help us achieve some task, what is the problem? But of course, they don't have to take your place. So I would say don't be scared. That is my first advice. And don't think that the machine are going to stop. So don't be scared, but be realistic. That means try to find your place and your steps in this rapidly changing space, and know what you give to the machines, because they give you back what you have given them. So as a priest or as a seminarian, I would say don't be scared, be realistic, and know what you give the machines, because that is what will be given back to you. Being controlled or not, okay, being control is per se is bad, but actually being seen per se is not a problem. Use those machines to proclaim the gospel. Why not? And you already use them. So be the one using the machines. Don't be the one being used by the machine. That is my advice. Fight to use the machines, don't be used by the machines. Yeah. I think that is my advice in this case. But don't be scared or be negative about technology. Technology per se is not a problem. The problem is actually on our side when we don't know our place and what to do when it comes to technology or how to use it.